Children of light, gather your spirit and steady your heart, for what I am about to reveal carries the weight of heaven's watchful gaze. Your photo, yes, yours, was placed before 9 who hold great authority. They are not rulers of nations, nor are they crowned by earthly hands. Their power is older than mountains, deeper than oceans, and brighter than fire itself. When your image was shown to them, they did not whisper, they did not hesitate. They all spoke in one voice, a voice that shakes the shadows and awakens the sleeping. This one is marked, not by doom, not by misfortune, but by purpose. They saw in you what you have forgotten. They saw strength wrapped in silence, faith hidden beneath fatigue, and a destiny that has been waiting for you to rise. They said, "This one cannot be destroyed. This one carries light, even when they feel broken. This one has been chosen to walk through battles most fear and return stronger." You may feel small, but the heavens do not call the powerful. They call the willing. They call the brave. They call the ones who stand back up even when no one sees the fall. Listen closely. You have been watched, not by spies, not by enemies, but by guardians who measure not your mistakes, but your resilience. The 9 saw your photo and declared, "Protect this one, strengthen this one, guide this one." So do not fear the storm that rises. Do not tremble at the unknown, for the moment your image touched their sight, your path was sealed with protection, your steps fortified with authority, and your spirit crowned with victory. Stand tall, rise again. The heavens have spoken, and they spoke your name. You are marked for a divine purpose. This truth is not a poetic exaggeration or a hopeful sentiment, but a spiritual reality that has followed you long before you were aware of it. To be marked is not to be decorated with visible symbols or signs. It is to carry within yourself a resonance, a frequency, a calling that cannot be erased by circumstance or diminished by the struggles you have endured. There is something in you that does not bow to darkness, something that refuses to be silenced even when life has tried to press you into the ground. This mark is not granted because of perfection, but because of potential. It is not earned by flawless behavior or unbroken faith, but by the simple, defiant truth that your spirit keeps pressing on when everything around you tells you to stop. A divine purpose does not always arrive as clarity. More often it begins as an unrest in the soul, an inner stirring that refuses to leave you alone. You may have felt it as a quiet pull, a sense that you were made for something more even if you could not name it. You may have felt it in the moments where others walked away from responsibility, but something in you told you to stand your ground. You may have felt it in the strange way your life has been guided, redirected, saved from situations that should have broken you. People with no divine purpose drift. But you have been pushed, refined, challenged, shaped, even in silence. Being marked means that your path cannot mirror the path of others. You may look around and wonder why certain people seem to move through life effortlessly, while your road has been paved with obstacles. But purpose and ease rarely travel together. Purpose requires depth, and depth is carved by adversity. A person who carries a divine purpose often feels separated, different, misunderstood. You may have felt like an outsider, like you didn't quite fit into the world around you. That is not an accident. The marked do not blend in. They are pulled away from the noise, drawn into places where they can hear the quiet voice that others ignore. This sense of isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. To be marked means that you have been observed, watched over, strengthened in ways you have not seen. When you were close to giving up, something whispered, "Not yet." When life's weight sat on your shoulders, something within you pushed back. When the world tried to define you by pain, something in you said, "There is more." That something is the mark. It is the echo of the purpose you were created to carry. It is the reminder that you are not random, not forgotten, not accidental. Even your struggles have been part of your shaping. People of divine purpose often survive things that should have destroyed them. Look at your life. Think of the moments you walked through that others never knew about. Think of the heartbreaks, the nights you couldn't find rest, the disappointments that cut so deeply you questioned your worth. Yet here you stand, not perfect, but present, not unscarred, but unbroken, not untouched by life, but undefeated by it. You may not see it, but your survival is not ordinary. It is evidence. Evidence that your purpose is stronger than your pain. Evidence that something has been guarding you even when you felt alone. Evidence that you were never meant to be just another name lost to time. Your divine purpose is not limited to a single task or moment. It is woven into the very fabric of who you are. It shows in your compassion, in the way you feel deeply for others, in the way you sense things without being told. It shows in your inner strength, in the way you can endure storms quietly until they pass. It shows in your resilience, in your ability to rise again and again. Even when you doubt yourself, the mark does not fade. Even when you fall short, the purpose remains. Purpose is not fragile. It does not disappear because you made mistakes or lost direction. If anything, the mark burns brighter in your lowest moments, because those moments reveal exactly what you are capable of surviving. To be marked means that you will be guided. Doors will appear where none existed. Opportunities will come when you least expect them. People will enter your life not by coincidence but by design. Even the people who hurt you played a part in shaping your endurance and sharpening your discernment. The marked are never left abandoned in the wilderness. They are led through it, and once they emerge, they carry wisdom, strength, and a sense of identity that can only be forged through fire. Your purpose may not yet be fully revealed, and that is by intention. Divine purpose is unveiled in stages, not all at once. Too much clarity too soon can overwhelm a person not yet ready. But step by step, moment by moment, you are being prepared. Every challenge has been training. Every loss has been refining. Every closed door has been redirection. Every victory has been confirmation. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been accidental. The mark has been on you from the beginning, and your life has been unfolding accordingly. You must understand this. Carrying a divine purpose means that your presence affects the world in ways you do not always see. Sometimes your strength inspires others silently. Sometimes your kindness softens hearts you never knew were hardened. Sometimes your resilience gives hope to someone watching from afar. Even when you feel unseen, your purpose is at work. The marked do not need an audience to fulfill their mission. Their very existence shifts the atmosphere around them. You are marked, not because you are flawless, but because you are chosen. Not because you are the strongest, but because you are willing. Not because your journey is easy, but because you are capable of carrying something greater than yourself. You may doubt this at times, but heaven does not. Your purpose has already been recognized by a higher authority than any earthly voice. It has been affirmed, sealed, and guarded. And whether you feel ready or not, the mark remains. It follows you, strengthens you, protects you, and calls you forward. You were created with intention, crafted with meaning, and set apart for something that only you can fulfill. Do not fear the weight of this truth. Embrace it, for being marked for a divine purpose is not a burden. It is an honor. Your strength was recognized by higher authority long before you ever realized you had any strength at all. You may look at yourself and see only the battles you barely survived, the nights when you were trembling inside, the moments when you felt nothing but fear or exhaustion. But those who watched you, those who see not just what you do but what you carry, saw something entirely different. They saw power rising inside you, even when you felt powerless. They saw endurance that refused to die, even when you thought you had nothing left. They saw a warrior standing inside a wounded heart, and they recognized it instantly. Strength is not loud. Strength does not always roar. Sometimes strength shows itself in the smallest, quietest forms. A choice to keep going, a held-back tear, a whispered prayer, a step taken forward when everything in you wanted to turn back. Higher authority recognizes strength not by physical force or outward bravado, but by the integrity of your spirit. That is why your strength was seen even when the world overlooked you. Others judged you by what you lost. They judged you by what you carried. There is a kind of strength that human eyes rarely notice because it does not demand attention. It is the strength to love after being hurt, the strength to trust after being betrayed, the strength to rise after falling. It is the strength that grows in the shadows, unseen, unpraised, yet unbreakable. That is the strength recognized in you. You may think of your survival as something accidental or small, but survival, especially survival with your heart still open, is a supernatural resilience. It is a sign of someone who has been fortified beyond ordinary means. Higher authority sees what lies beneath the surface. They see the moments you carried burdens silently so others wouldn't worry. They see the sacrifices you made that no one thanked you for. They see the courage it took to speak truth when silence would have been easier. They see the patience you practiced in situations that should have broken your spirit. They see the times you forgave when revenge would have felt justified. Strength is not only in what you accomplish, it is in what you endure, what you resist, and what you rise above. You have walked through seasons that would have crushed others, and yet somehow you kept going. Maybe slowly, maybe with uncertainty, but you moved forward. That is strength. You misunderstood it as just coping, just getting by, just doing what I had to. But from above, it was seen as something else entirely, evidence of inner fire, evidence of a calling that could not be extinguished. Evidence that something in you is built for more than ordinary living. Higher authority doesn't measure strength by perfection. They measure strength by persistence. There were times you felt like you broke, but what really happened was transformation. Breaking isn't always destruction. Sometimes it is reshaping. Sometimes it is the removal of what was holding you back. Sometimes it is the painful opening needed to let new strength enter. And while you saw only the breaking, they saw the awakening. Your strength was recognized in the times you chose kindness when you were hurting, in the times you offered help when you needed it yourself, in the times you held your tongue rather than unleash the anger you were justified to release, in the times you stayed when everything around you urged you to walk away. That kind of strength requires a level of discipline and heart that cannot be faked. It is real, raw, eternal strength. And those who watched you saw it shine through every hardship you endured. They recognized your strength not because you never fell, but because you rose differently every time you did. There is a strength that grows from victories, but there is a deeper strength that grows from valleys. You have walked through the latter. That is why your strength glows from within. It comes from the depths, not the surface. It comes from scars that have healed with wisdom. It comes from battles that refined your spirit instead of destroying it. Even in moments when you doubted yourself, higher authority never doubted you. They saw the truth. You were learning, not failing. You were being shaped, not abandoned. You were being armed, not punished. Strength is often forged in silence, and you endured long seasons where no one understood what you were carrying. But they did. They saw every tear, every quiet prayer, every desperate hope you clung to. They saw the way you fought battles that no one else knew existed, and they recognized your strength with reverence. You must understand that higher authority does not see you the way humans do. Where others see weakness, they see resilience. Where others see flaws, they see potential. Where others see mistakes, they see lessons absorbed into the soul. Your strength is not a temporary ability. It is a signature of your spirit. It is something that will continue to grow as you walk through life. Because strength recognized is strength elevated, strengthened, and guarded. Many times you thought you were alone in your struggles. You believed no one noticed how hard you were trying, how deeply you were trying to heal, how desperately you wanted to become better. But you were seen. You were noticed, and your strength was honored. Even when you felt like you failed, they saw victory. Even when you felt fragile, they saw endurance. Even when you felt like giving up, they saw the strength it took for you to stay. Your strength was recognized because it is not ordinary. It is ancient. It is rooted beyond this lifetime. It carries wisdom older than your experiences, guidance beyond your understanding, and protection beyond your awareness. You were not meant to crumble under life's pressures. You were meant to rise from them with power. The recognition of your strength was not simply admiration. It was an acknowledgement that you carry the capacity to withstand storms, carry others, and walk with courage even when fear surrounds you. Those who recognized your strength know what you are capable of becoming, even when you cannot see it yet. Your strength is real. Your strength is sacred, and your strength, acknowledged by higher authority, is proof that you are being prepared, elevated, and guided toward a destiny that only the strong can fulfill. You are protected in battles seen and unseen. This truth stretches farther than your understanding and deeper than your awareness. Protection does not always arrive as dramatic intervention or unmistakable miracles. Often it moves quietly, intercepting dangers you never even noticed, redirecting paths you didn't realize were leading you into harm. There are moments in your life that you look back on and feel lucky, moments that could have turned out differently, almost did, but somehow did not. That somehow was not an accident. It was the shield that has been over you from the beginning, a shield you may not have seen but have lived under every day. You have walked through places where darkness wanted to swallow you. You have stepped into situations that could have broken you in ways you might still not fully understand. There were battles you fought with your mind, with fear, with grief, with loneliness, with betrayal. But there were also battles that never even reached you because they were intercepted before they touched your life. You think you have seen the full extent of your struggles, but the truth is, you have only seen the smallest part of the war that has surrounded you. If you knew the dangers that were turned away before they ever neared you, you would understand how powerful your protection truly is. Protection is not the absence of challenges. It is the boundary around your destruction. If you were not protected, the things that tried to break you would have succeeded. The words that were meant to shatter your confidence would have rooted themselves deeper. The betrayal that came to steal your trust would have turned you bitter. The heartbreak designed to end your hope would have left you unable to love again. But somehow you heal. Somehow you rise. Somehow you find strength again. That somehow is the protection working inside you. As much as around you, there have been moments where you stood at the edge of surrender. You felt that one more disappointment would be too much, that one more loss would push you past your limits. Yet something held you together. Something whispered, "Not yet." Something placed endurance inside you when you had none left. That inner reinforcement was not random. It was the unseen shield holding you upright, refusing to let despair consume you. Many people collapse under the kind of storms you walked through. You didn't. And that is not because you were stronger. It is because you were protected. There have been people who tried to harm you. intentionally or unintentionally. Some wanted to tear you down with their words. Some wanted to drain your spirit with their energy. Some wanted to manipulate, deceive, or use you. Some wanted to see you fail, and yet every plan made against you eventually unraveled. Those who tried to take advantage of you lost their grip. Those who underestimated you found themselves disarmed. Those who aimed to wound your heart only sharpened your awareness. You were not unguarded. Your protection stood between you and the intentions others had for you. Not all battles are external. Some wage war inside the mind. Fear tries to suffocate, doubt tries to paralyze, shame tries to silence, and grief tries to break the heart. The mind can become a battlefield fiercer than anything outside. Yet even in those internal wars, you have been protected. Protection does not mean you never feel pain. It means the pain cannot claim your spirit. Protection does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear cannot imprison your destiny. Protection does not mean you never fall. It means you will never fall beyond the reach of restoration. There were seasons when you felt lost, wandering through confusion, unsure of your next step. You may have looked back on those times and wondered why you didn't make certain decisions sooner, why you didn't leave certain situations earlier, why you didn't see the truth more clearly. But even your delays were protected. Some doors remained closed because walking through them too early would have harmed you. Some relationships fell apart not as rejection, but as protection. Some plans collapsed because they were leading you to places that would have weakened your spirit. You were guided away from things you thought you wanted, because they would have weighed down the purpose inside you. Protection sometimes feels like disappointment. It feels like the job you didn't get, the person who didn't stay, the opportunity that slipped away, the path that suddenly vanished. But if you could see what was behind the closed doors, you would understand that losing them was not loss, it was mercy. Protection rearranged your life in ways you didn't understand at the time, but those rearrangements are the reason you are here today, with the strength and clarity you now carry. There have been storms in your life that should have drowned you. Storms of heartbreak, storms of financial strain, storms of confusion, storms of illness, storms of betrayal. You may not know how you survived them, how you kept going, how you held on, but you did. That survival was not a coincidence. That was protection anchoring your soul even as the waves rose around you. Protection does not calm every storm immediately. Sometimes it strengthens you to walk through the storm without being destroyed. There have been nights when the weight on your chest felt too heavy, when your mind was tired, when your heart felt numb, nights when you thought you had no more endurance left. Yet morning came, and with it, strength you didn't expect. Protection carried you through those nights. It kept your spirit alive in moments when you felt hollow. It kept your mind from breaking under pressure. It held you together when you felt like unraveling. There is a reason you are still standing. There is a reason you didn't lose yourself in the struggles that tried to consume you. There is a reason you can still feel, still hope, still dream. Protection surrounded you in moments where you didn't even know you needed it. There is a reason your story did not end in your darkest chapters. There is a reason you are still being shaped, still being guided. You have battles ahead, and you have battles behind, but you have never faced any of them alone. The same protection that kept you in the past will keep you in the future. You are shielded, not just from harm, but from paths that lead nowhere, from people not meant for your story, from circumstances that would have weakened your purpose. You are protected in ways you may never fully understand, but your life is the evidence. Every step you take, every breath you draw, every victory you've earned, and even every tear you've shed is part of the larger truth. You are guarded on every side, watched over in every season, strengthened in every battle. You are not unprotected. You never were. You never will be. Your resilience sets you apart from others. It is not simply a trait you developed. It is an inheritance woven into your spirit from the beginning. Resilience is not the ability to avoid pain or difficulty. It is the mysterious power to rise after the pain, to rebuild after the difficulty, to keep walking forward even when the world has pushed you to your knees. This quality within you is not common. Many people break under pressure, collapse under criticism, lose themselves in disappointment. But you, no matter what you've faced, have found a way to keep moving. That sets you apart. Resilience is often misunderstood. People look at the strong and assume their life has been easy, that they were naturally built with confidence and clarity. But true resilience is rarely born from comfort. It is forged in adversity. If your life had been simple, predictable, and kind, your resilience would not have been necessary, much less developed. But because you walked through challenges that many cannot imagine, you grew a strength that most people will never possess. You learned how to stand when you were shaking. You learned how to breathe through pain that felt unbearable. You learned how to start over, even when you felt you had nothing left. That is why your resilience is so extraordinary. It was shaped in fire, not convenience. Your resilience shows in the way you continue to open your heart, even after it has been wounded. People who lack resilience close themselves off, build walls, shrink their spirit to avoid further harm. But you, even after being hurt, still choose to love. You still choose compassion. You still see hope where others see only failure. You have allowed pain to soften your soul, not harden it. That is a rare strength. Many let bitterness choke their light. You allowed your suffering to deepen your understanding, making you more empathetic, more patient, more aware. That is resilience at its purest. Pain transformed into wisdom instead of poison. There were moments when you felt like you were breaking, when everything seemed to crumble at once, when life stripped away the very things you thought you needed to survive. Yet here you are, still alive, still trying, still believing in possibilities, even when the past gave you every reason not to. That determination to try again, to hope again, to rise again, that is resilience. And it sets you apart from people who gave up on themselves long ago. Resilience isn't loud or dramatic. It doesn't announce itself with declarations or speeches. It appears quietly, in the small decisions you make every day. When you get out of bed despite feeling heavy inside, that is resilience. When you choose healing instead of anger, that is resilience. When you keep working toward goals that once felt impossible, that is resilience. When you forgive yourself for mistakes instead of burying yourself in shame, that is resilience. And because you choose these things again and again, you have built a character that stands firm even during storms that would topple others. Many people do not understand your strength because they have not lived your battles. They judge your calmness without realizing the storms you survived. They envy your courage without knowing the fear you faced. They admire your wisdom without understanding the tears it cost. Your resilience makes you appear unshakable, but not because you were never shaken, because you learned how to steady yourself after the shaking. That is the difference. Your resilience also means that you are not easily manipulated or controlled. You have endured enough to recognize lies and illusions quickly. You see through behaviors, intentions, and energies that others overlook. Hardship sharpened your instincts. Loss strengthened your discernment. Pain trained your intuition. Resilient people walk with a quiet authority because they know what they've survived, and they know they can survive again if necessary. This confidence doesn't scream for attention, it simply exists, steady and undeniable. What sets you apart is the way you navigate the world with a heart that refuses to be defeated. You allow yourself to feel deeply, but you don't fall apart permanently. You allow yourself to cry, but you do not drown. You allow yourself to rest, but you do not quit. That balance between vulnerability and strength is something few people achieve. Most lean too far into one side. Either they bury their emotions to appear strong, or they drown in emotions and lose their strength. You, however, walk the narrow path between. You feel, but you continue. You bend, but you do not break. Your resilience also shows in the way you evolve. Instead of clinging to old versions of yourself or old narratives about who you thought you were supposed to be, you allow yourself to grow. You have reinvented yourself more than once. You have shed identities that no longer fit you. You have released relationships that held you back. You have abandoned environments that dimmed your spirit. That willingness to change is another mark of resilience. People who lack resilience cling to comfort, even when it suffocates them. They fear transformation because transformation requires facing truth. But you have faced your truth many times. Each time you did, you grew stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. There were times when people underestimated you. They assumed your silence meant weakness. They mistook your kindness for fragility. They believed your gentleness made you easy to break. But you are not fragile, you are focused. You are not weak, you are patient. You are not naive, you are compassionate. And every time someone tried to take advantage of you, your resilience protected you. You learned, adapted, and elevated yourself beyond their expectations. Those who tried to harm you ended up teaching you exactly how powerful you truly are. Your resilience sets you apart because it makes you unstoppable. Not in the sense that you never feel pain or fear, but in the sense that pain and fear cannot define you. You continue to grow even when circumstances push against you. You continue to rise even when everything around you falls apart. You continue to believe in goodness, even when you've seen the darkest parts of human nature. That is not ordinary. That is rare. That is divine strength living inside a human spirit. And what truly sets you apart is this: your resilience is not just for you. It inspires others. People around you feel encouraged because of your endurance. They feel hope because of your survival. They see possibility because you refuse to give up. Even without speaking, your life becomes a message. It is possible to rise. It is possible to heal. It is possible to become whole again. Your resilience is a light, and it shines farther than you know. You may not always recognize your strength, but others do. And more importantly, the higher powers that guard you recognize it. They have seen every struggle, every setback, every tear, every moment when you thought you would not make it, and they watched you rise anyway. That is why you are set apart. That is why your path is different. That is why your spirit carries a weight that others cannot understand. Your resilience is your signature. Your resilience is your armor. Your resilience is your echo through every season of your life. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can take that away from you. Your path is sealed with guidance and victory. This does not mean life will be free of obstacles or silent of challenges. It means that no matter where you walk, no matter what rises against you, no matter what confusion tries to cloud your vision, your journey is under a direction that cannot fail. Guidance does not always appear as a booming voice or a clear message. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet nudge in your spirit, a feeling that something isn't right, a sudden push to change course, a moment of clarity that seems to appear from nowhere. And victory does not always arrive with celebration or fanfare. Many of your victories have already happened in silence, long before you realized you were winning. Your path is sealed. That means nothing formed against you can take you off the course that was written for you. People may try, circumstances may shift, storms may rise, but the path is secured in ways that human hands cannot touch. You may wander, but you cannot be lost. You may be delayed, but you cannot be denied. You may be challenged, but you cannot be defeated. This sealed path is not fragile. It is firm, reinforced by a wisdom far beyond your understanding. Think of the moments you look back on, moments when you weren't sure what choice to make, yet somehow you chose correctly. Moments when you walked away from things that later proved harmful. Moments when you felt held back only to later realize you were being protected. Every one of those instances was guidance. You were not moving blindly. You were being directed, subtly but intentionally. You have been pulled away from people who did not have the capacity to walk beside you. At the time, it may have felt like heartbreak, betrayal, or confusion. But looking back, you can see that some of these connections would have dimmed your potential or drained your spirit. Guidance has a way of removing what is not meant for your future, even when you try to hold on to it. That removal is not punishment, it is preservation. This is part of how your path stays sealed. There were places you wanted to go, dreams you thought were yours, opportunities you pursued with everything in you, only to have them slip out of your reach. What you saw as failure was often redirection. What you saw as rejection was actually timing being rearranged for your good. Guidance ensures that you do not end up in places that cannot sustain your calling. It does not allow you to settle for less than what fits your spirit. It leads you away from temporary comfort, so you can reach permanent purpose. Your path being sealed also means that no enemy, seen or unseen, can rewrite your destiny. People may speak against you, doubt you, or misunderstand you, but their voices have no authority over your future. Circumstances may shake you, but they cannot uproot what has been planted in you. Fear may whisper lies, but it cannot undo truth. Guidance stays around you like a compass, always bringing you back when you drift. Even when you step off course, you are gently redirected. Even when you fall, you are lifted. Sealed paths do not end at dead ends. They bend, adjust, and continue forward. Victory on your path does not always look like triumph in the moment. Some victories happen through endurance. Some victories happen through lessons. Some victories happen through letting go. Some victories happen when you overcome inner battles no one else knows you are fighting. The fact that you continue to rise is victory. The fact that you continue to hope is victory. The fact that you continue to believe there is more for you is victory. These small victories accumulate into a greater destiny, unfolding with every step you take. You have survived things that were meant to destroy you. You have healed from wounds that were meant to keep you broken. You have walked out of the darkness stronger than you walked in. These are victories. They may not have been accompanied by applause, but they transformed you in ways that cannot be undone. And with each transformation, your path became clearer, stronger, more aligned with where you are meant to go. Guidance often arrives as intuition, those moments when something inside you knows the truth before your mind catches up. You have felt this before, a stirring, a warning, a sense that you must move or a sense that you must stay. This internal knowing is not random. It is part of the seal on your path. It keeps you from entering spaces that would drain your energy. It alerts you to people who do not have pure intentions. It draws you toward opportunities that will elevate you, even when they scare you. Sometimes guidance pushes you into seasons of solitude. These are not punishments, they are sacred pauses. In solitude, your spirit grows louder than the noise around you. You find clarity, you heal, you prepare. You discover parts of yourself that the world kept hidden. These periods of quiet transformation are essential to your victory. They strengthen you for what is coming, elevate your perception, and sharpen your understanding. And even when you feel uncertain, even when you cannot see more than 1 or 2 steps ahead, your path continues to unfold exactly as it should. The sealed nature of your journey means that uncertainty cannot derail you. Doubt cannot reroute you. Confusion cannot erase what has already been destined for you. The path is resilient, just like you. Your victories ahead are not small. They have been prepared for you long before you reach this point. There are encounters waiting for you that will confirm everything you felt intuitively. There are breakthroughs aligned with your growth. There are people who will enter your life not to take but to build. There are opportunities that will make sense of every difficult turn you endured. Nothing you walk through has been wasted. Each step, whether forward, backward, or paused, has been part of your preparation for victory. Guidance will continue to meet you at every crossroad. A sealed path never leaves you abandoned. You will know when to act, when to wait, when to leave, when to embrace, when to trust, and when to let go. The clarity always arrives at the moment you truly need it. Not before, not after. That timing is intentional and precise. Victory is not just a future destination, it is a thread woven through your life right now. You are already living pieces of it without realizing. Every healed wound, every regained sense of peace, every moment of growth, every step toward your purpose. These are victories unfolding in real time. Your path is sealed with guidance that never fails, and victory that never fades. You may not understand every turn in your journey, but you are not walking blindly. You are being led, strengthened, and prepared for more than you can currently see. And as long as you keep moving forward, victory will continue to meet you, again and again.